The American people appear ready to go back to war in the Middle East. Now, if you ask them, do you want to send 100,000 American soldiers to fight ISIS or the Syrian government or whoever in the Middle East, I don't think they're ready to say yes to that yet. But we do have survey data that has me incredibly scared and leads me to believe that they are ready, as they were a little bit over 10 years ago, to get embroiled and wrapped up in a military conflict in the Middle East. Here's the polling that's got me most scared. Now, I brought this up at a production meeting for the Young Turks, and Jen covered it on the show. But most of the people weren't all that surprised by what you're seeing there, the 55-32 split in who American voters think is better equipped to protect the country from international terrorism and military threats. And I get why. We know growing up, that's always been the case. We've heard that people respect the Republican Party more for being strong against both terrorism and our military enemies and blah, blah, blah. But the thing that I'm most interested in is if you look at the 06 to 08 period, like that showed that the American people could learn from our experiences abroad fighting the Iraqi military, the Taliban, terrorists, and things like that. It took 4, 5, 6, maybe even longer years of absolute tragedy in the Middle East, but the American people did learn the lesson that when we send troops over there without a clear-cut mission beyond nation building, they're going to suffer and they're going to die, and we're not going to get anything out of it. And it took so long and it took so many deaths for the American people to learn that lesson. But they did learn it. If you look at that poll around the 07, 08 period, they were sick of it, and they were ready to turn to a party who at least was saying they're going to get us out of there. It took way longer than it should have for Obama to pull the troops out, but it did actually happen. And then as you get a little bit of peace for a few years in that region, eventually people, they forget the lesson that they learned. And they start to think of, oh, I was raised to believe the Republicans would be better. And so when the situation starts to get scary and it seems like, you know, ISIS could be coming over the border any day, they revert back to those old antiquated modes of operation when it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to military conflict. And now when we have Obama saying, you know, we're going to be fighting ISIS, we're going to try to disarm, dismantle, and defenestrate ISIS throughout that region, and he's saying airstrikes. And now we've got the Pentagon saying, well, you know, we might need some boots on the ground beyond the more than 1,000 boots on the ground we already have there, 1,000 pairs, I should say. And you have a presidential election coming up in not that much longer. I mean, whoever wins is going to possibly get us involved in a situation at least as wide as we were in Afghanistan and Iraq. I mean, ISIS is spreading through multiple countries. They are not a direct military threat to the United States right now, but the pitch is being made to the American public that they are, that they could be very soon. And when the American public is listening to the Republicans, the party of let's send every soldier to the Middle East right now, right away, that is very scary, and I think that you should be scared about that.